Have you ever been sitting quietly when your dog suddenly walks up to you, carrying something completely random in their mouth? It might be a sock, a shoe, a toy they have ignored for months, a piece of paper, or something that clearly does not belong indoors at all. They drop it at your feet, stare at you intently, and wait. Sometimes they wag their tail. Sometimes they sit calmly. Sometimes they walk away and come back with something else. To humans, it looks confusing, funny, or even annoying. But to your dog, this behavior is intentional, meaningful, and deeply connected to how they think, feel, and communicate. Dogs do not bring objects randomly. Even when the object seems meaningless to you, it holds emotional, social, or symbolic value to your dog. This behavior is rooted in instinct, attachment, communication, emotional intelligence, and learned social patterns. When a dog brings you something, they are not just carrying an object. They are sending a message. One of the strongest reasons dogs bring objects to humans is connection. Dogs are social animals, and sharing objects is one of their oldest bonding behaviors. In the wild, bringing items back to the pack was a form of contribution and inclusion. It showed participation and belonging. Domestic dogs still carry this instinct. When your dog brings you something, they are saying, "You are part of my group, and I want to interact with you." The object becomes a bridge between their world and yours. For many dogs, bringing objects is a learned form of communication. Dogs quickly realize that picking something up and presenting it to a human gets attention. That attention can be positive, such as praise, laughter, or petting, or even mildly negative, such as being told no. To a dog, attention is still engagement. Over time, they learn that objects are effective tools for starting interaction. This is why dogs often choose items that are guaranteed to get a reaction, like shoes, socks, or household objects instead of their actual toys. Objects also carry scent, and scent is incredibly important to dogs. Many of the items dogs bring belong to you. Shoes, clothes, pillows, and personal items are saturated with your scent. When your dog brings you something that smells like you, they are interacting with your presence even when you are physically there. It is a comfort behavior. The object represents closeness, familiarity, and emotional security. Bringing it to you is a way of reinforcing that bond. Another major reason dogs bring objects is emotional regulation. Dogs use objects to manage excitement, anxiety, or anticipation. When a dog is feeling overwhelmed with emotion, carrying something in their mouth can help them self-soothe. It gives them focus. It channels nervous energy into a controlled action. This is why dogs often grab objects when guests arrive, when you come home, or when they are excited about something that is about to happen. The object helps them cope with big feelings. Puppies often display this behavior early in life. They explore the world through their mouths. Carrying objects is part of learning coordination, control, and interaction. When puppies bring objects to humans and receive attention, the behavior is reinforced. As they grow older, the action evolves from exploration into communication. What started as curiosity becomes intentional social behavior. Some dogs bring objects as invitations. This is especially common with toys. When a dog drops a toy at your feet and stares at you, they are asking you to engage. It is a request for play, interaction, or shared activity. Dogs do not have words, so objects become their language. The act of bringing something to you is the equivalent of saying, "I want to do something with you right now." But not all objects are toys, and this is where the behavior becomes more complex. When dogs bring random household items, they are often testing what works. Dogs are intelligent problem solvers. They remember which objects have resulted in the strongest reactions in the past. If grabbing a sock once made you laugh, talk, or chase them, your dog remembers that. The sock becomes a powerful communication tool. They are not being naughty, they are being strategic. Dogs also bring objects as a form of offering. This behavior is deeply rooted in instinct. In the wild, bringing food or items back to the group was a survival behavior. It showed cooperation and social bonding. Domestic dogs sometimes replicate this by bringing objects to their humans. They are sharing something they value. Even if you do not value it, the act itself matters. It is a gesture of trust and inclusion. For some dogs, object bringing is linked to attachment styles. Dogs with strong attachment to their owners often bring objects when they want reassurance. The behavior may increase when the dog feels uncertain, lonely, or slightly anxious. The object becomes a way to stay connected. It keeps the interaction going. This is why dogs may bring objects repeatedly, even after you have already acknowledged them. Dogs also bring objects to express pride. Carrying something and presenting it can be a confidence behavior. Some dogs strut proudly with items, holding their head high and tail wagging. They want you to notice. This is especially common in breeds that were historically bred for retrieving or carrying, such as retrievers, spaniels, and herding breeds. For them, carrying objects feels purposeful and satisfying. Interestingly, dogs often choose specific objects depending on their emotional state. A dog might bring a toy when they want play, a sock when they want attention, or a random item when they feel conflicted or overstimulated. Observing what your dog brings, and when they bring it, can reveal a lot about what they are feeling in that moment. Some dogs bring objects as part of routine. Dogs thrive on patterns. If bringing an object has become part of greeting you, calming themselves, or initiating interaction, it becomes ritualized. Ritual behaviors are comforting for dogs. They create predictability in a world they cannot fully control. The object becomes part of a familiar sequence that helps the dog feel secure. Dogs also read human reactions extremely well. They notice tone of voice, body language, facial expression, and movement. If bringing objects consistently leads to positive engagement, the behavior strengthens. Even reactions like chasing the dog to retrieve the object can be perceived as play. Dogs do not understand that you might be frustrated. They interpret your movement and attention as interaction. In some cases, dogs bring objects because they are trying to help. This may sound surprising, but dogs often attempt to respond to human emotional cues. If you appear stressed, sad, or distracted, your dog may bring you something as a way of engaging or comforting you. They may not understand exactly what you need, but they understand that interaction helps regulate emotion. The object becomes their attempt to connect and support. Dogs with high emotional intelligence often adjust their object-bringing behavior based on the person. They may bring toys to playful people and calmer objects to quieter individuals. This shows that the behavior is not random. It is adaptive and socially informed. Age also influences this behavior. Puppies bring objects for exploration and play. Adult dogs bring objects for communication and bonding. Senior dogs may bring objects for reassurance or comfort. The same behavior evolves throughout a dog's life, shaped by experience, personality, and emotional needs. In multi-dog households, object bringing can also be social signaling. A dog may bring objects to a specific person to establish preference or reinforce a bond. They may also bring objects to manage competition or gain attention in a group setting. It becomes a way to stand out and be noticed. Dogs that have experienced changes, such as moving homes, new family members, or schedule disruptions, may increase object-bringing behavior. It provides stability. It is something familiar they can control. When the environment feels uncertain, predictable behaviors become grounding. It is important to understand that taking objects away harshly or ignoring the behavior completely can sometimes increase anxiety. Dogs are not being defiant. They are communicating. Redirecting the behavior gently, offering appropriate toys, and acknowledging their attempt to connect helps maintain emotional balance. Dogs do not think in terms of rules or property ownership the way humans do. They think in terms of interaction, response, and emotional outcome. If bringing an object achieves connection, reassurance, or engagement, they will repeat it. This behavior also highlights how dogs perceive humans not just as caretakers, but as social partners. They bring objects to dogs they trust. A dog rarely brings items to someone they feel uncertain about. The act requires vulnerability. They are approaching, offering, and waiting for a response. That moment of waiting is full of expectation. When a dog drops an object at your feet and looks up at you, they are not being silly. They are asking something. It might be play with me, notice me, help me calm down, share this moment with me, or simply acknowledge me. The object is just the medium. The message is emotional. Understanding this behavior changes how we respond. Instead of seeing it as random or annoying, we can see it as communication. We can learn to read the context, the timing, and the choice of object. Over time, many owners realize their dog has different meanings behind different items. Dogs live in a world where communication is constant, but silent. Objects are one of the ways they speak. They do not bring them by accident. They bring them with intention, shaped by instinct, learning, and emotional awareness. Next time your dog walks up carrying something unexpected, pause before reacting. Look at their body language. Are they excited, calm, uncertain, or hopeful? The answer lies there. The object is not the point. The connection is. If this helped you see your dog's behavior in a new way, take a moment to appreciate how deeply dogs try to communicate with us every day. Share in the comments what is the strangest object your dog has ever brought you and when they tend to do it. Every object tells a story, and every story reveals how much dogs want to connect with the humans they love.